here we are at the finale. I hope you enjoy. If you do and want to support what I do whilst voting in what you want covered, hit up my Patreon in the description. I'm nearly entirely fan funded. Thanks. Wouldn't be a brand new episode of Frieren and video on said anime if it wasn't a gorgeous inn to kick us off. Who seriously thought to go the extra mile and animate the sheep moving as he puts his boots on? I mean, come on! Okay, now the last one from the third quarter video makes total sense. She's gonna give him a hard time about having slept in. I get it now. To add to that, she looks so very disappointed in him, and now he doesn't himself too. The most adorable form of punishment known to man! But also I can't believe that that's another thing he's not allowed to do. Come on, just look at the insane amount of detail that they went and put into this external shot. The internal isn't too bad either, you feel me? My thought in the last video was that they weren't going to dive much deeper into these characters, but I'm happy to see that I'm likely wrong as we get more on Richter of all people. Even better, if you want to try to get us to like the dude, make it so he helped out his grandma. How are you gonna very likely also give me character building on this guy? This anime is out of this world, I mean it! They're our enemy, and yet I feel very fondly for the old man and now Richter to a degree. Heck, for the girl who risked herself to try and rescue him during the test. That's well played. The voice actress should really be given credit for her ability to sound innocent while saying some pretty harsh stuff. I was already praising the other characters from the other team for having their characters being expanded upon by the author, and now I'm proud to give a win for the same happening to Ubel. Color me shocked and surprised that she can use the same spell. Oh snap, it's even more in depth than that. Shut up and take my win. Moments like this are so damn tense, aren't they? Stupidly beautiful looking city street. Not sure why, but things like this sing to my heart. Maybe because I'm married, but who knows? Makes me happy and a bit sad as she's clearly gone. Maybe that's the grave he wants to visit. How deadly seriously Frieren is taking the notion of ordering multiple desserts. Had to give a win for all of their lovely reactions. Gave me a big old smile. You know me by now, seeing the old heroes, more so here because they visited this same establishment years ago, nearly always gets a win. Also though, hearing this little statement was enough for me to build a mental image of their quest they undertook. This was made that much more lovely by the notion that, ideally, the taste will be the same, even maybe close to 100 years later at this point, and that's what she was testing. The The way I read into this was that it was a gift he gave to the future Frieren to be able to sit here one day in the vast future and enjoy the same meal they had back then. If so, that's amazing.
なんだよ。あれだけ意気込んでおいて味変わってるじゃん。
Oh, that's a shame and I suppose realistic. In spite of his best attempts, likely multiple people came and went who themselves altered the flavour slightly.
でも、もっと美味しい味を探す手間は省けた。あの時よりもずっと美味しい。
Ah! You duped me! You got your boy! Well played, you get a win!
意外と小食なんだね。
いいだろ別に。
It's nice that the old man's and his team are eating there, but seeing these two doing the same was an even bigger and more unexpected treat. Oh, a very happy Fern! Gifting us with yet another view of the city from a good distance away.
お主に教えることはもう何もない。
Think this was a nice way of letting us know that Stark hasn't been doing nothing this entire time and has actually been undertaking further mental training.
あのおじいさん誰？
知らない人。なんか修行してると話しかけてくるの。
They got me again! I feel duped! How are you going to dupe a tax-paying citizen twice in one episode? Tax-paying.
むちゃくちゃ怒ってる。
Ah! A very angry Fern again!
お願いだよ、シュタルク。仲裁してよ。私だと話してくれないんだよ。
I cannot express just how much I enjoy their dynamic as a trio. It's so funny, wholesome and full of genuine heartfelt moments too. It's truly one of the best instances of it I've seen in forever.
やだよ。怖いもん。
And Stark is just a walking wins machine as far as I'm concerned. He's so funny.
食べたい。
え？
おやつ食べたい。
めんどくせえこの人。
This would not normally get a win, but it's totally worth it for his matter-of-fact way of saying this.
あれ、あいつ。
First of all, you gotta give mad props for creating an entire street segment from a height like this. Secondly, though, how they animate them walking through it. From a distance, looking smooth as anything, I cannot not be impressed by this anime now.
毎回余計なもの買ってきやがって。私は着せ替え人形じゃねえぞ。
Consider me even more blown away than any other time I've said it, because pretty much everyone's lives are now being touched upon in some way. Plus, this was very sweet, I thought too. Really didn't have to do that, but they did it anyway.
今日は私がエスコートするね、ダビーナちゃん。痛い取れちゃう。
I knew it was coming, but it absolutely didn't detract from making me laugh even one bit.
別にどれでも。シュタルク様、選んでいいですよ。
これ、どれでもよくない時のやつだ。
How well they know each other by now.
どうしよ
う。私に聞かれても困るよ。
Also, how the author managed to keep on finding ways for people who took the exam to meet one another. Not always in super meaningful ways, but it's definitely something.
一次試験で同じパーティーだった子たちだよ。フリーレンにはたくさん助けてもらったんだよ。
Great example of the small things they do in this one that I appreciate so much, such as her speeding up slightly to be more involved in this part of the conversation.
おい、お前戦士だろ。
This is literally a perfect follow-up win to win number 808, as they pretty much all come across one another today.
大陸魔法協会から農作物を荒らすフレッサーの討伐依頼を受けていてな。前衛を探していたんだ。
So good how the story keeps on rolling in between the tests. Firstly, with them going for a meal, then everything that has gone on today leading into this new quest.
試験であったな。こいつお前の仲間か。借りてっていい？
どうぞ。
ひどい
That. So easily that. Best reactions ever.
いや、フリーレンがいなかったら私たちは第二次試験まで進めなかった。ありがとう。
Just like her thanking them for a job well done with the het pads during the last video, it's nice to see them do this and actually sort her out for this purpose this day. Not walking in the past on the spot.
誰かに少しでも自分のことを覚えていてもらいたいのかもしれない。生きているということは誰かに知ってもらって覚えていてもらうことだ。
learning his wholesome but definitely with an undercurrent of sadness related reason why he does what he does.
覚えていてもらうためにはどうすればいいんだろう。
ほんの少しでいい。誰かの人生を変えてあげればいい。
It's nice, really. She's taking his advice from the past and enjoying seeing it being done, but at the same time, she's keeping him alive by remembering stuff like that and acting on it.
2日目の朝なかなか起きなかったな。その話はやめて。また機嫌が悪くなっちゃう。
How quickly Fern can go back to being in a grump if you're not careful of her mood.
なんだろう。
That was pretty sick, not gonna fib.
第二次試験の会場と日時、それと担当の試験官の名前ですね。前世の担当した試験は過去4回。いずれも合格者は0人だ。
Also though, hold on to your hats, we're heading into the second test and I for one absolutely cannot wait to see what's next. Take my win, I'm so hyped. Seeing everyone who will be involved in the next test once again and how they all receive their instructions in wildly different fashions. Great lore on display here as we see the tomb of a king of old. Looks great too and positioned logically on the outskirts of the city. Now that right there is an awesomely detailed looking crowd, that is. The king's tomb itself just got to score its own win for looking damn glorious, to be honest.
ここは多くの冒険者が帰らぬものになった未踏破のダンジョンだ。また合格者を出さないつもりか?
Pretty sick where I'm sitting that this is an unexplored dungeon, likely created from a long period of time ago where it's now being disregarded. Feels like a win for showcasing us a new kind of magic, unless she's got really strong hair naturally or something?
瓶を割ればゴーレムが現れ、ダンジョンの外まで運び出してくれる。
Getting our first look, I do believe, at a type of magical item, in this case essentially an escape from Dungeon 1. It's funny how well body language is used in this one. She's obviously getting physically closer to him over time and he's kind of shying away from it. This was shown at the end of the last episode too.
統一王朝期のダンジョンのようだな。この時代のダンジョンは入り口が複数あるが、どれも最深部に通じている。
Establishing lore that can easily be come back to. So obviously this was a large period of time where the country, or empire perhaps, was first united, maybe under one leadership. Little long to show, but I felt it was good to see the differences forming between mages. Some want to work together, others not so much, rather than everyone being on the same page. Also, they're not walking on the spot and at quite the distance.
まあ、第一次試験のしがらみもある。少なくともよく知らねえやつとは組めねえよな。
I like his attitude. He's clearly happy to work with them, but understands others might be harboring hatred from things that happened to them during the first test. He's chill, I like him.
私は君たちについていこう。君たちが一番安全に最深部にたどり着けそうだ。
Very interesting how, gleaning from the first test and then seeing them up close now, she knows they're the strongest combo. So much extra animation! Very brief 13-second long fully animated montage.
そこの床、罠だから気をつけて。
Shows how insanely awesome Frieren is that she is essentially showing up a first-class mage during her own test.
続く階段だな。
そうか、こっちのルートは外れだな。
One of those times I just gotta showcase the incredible music and gush over it with a win.
ダンジョンは一つの階層を全て踏破してから次に進むものだ。冒険者の常識だぞ。
What is this guy? Me every time I play a JRPG or something? Too much to show, but as is often the case with Himmel, he said something profound and lovely regarding enjoying this adventure to the very best of his ability because one day it'll be over.
珍しい魔導書かもしれないしな。
何やってるの？早く戻るよ。
How well he knew Frieren at this point. I found it interesting and noteworthy that people remained outside for a while. There was a real staggered entrance rather than everyone rushing in.
の中にミミックのような単純な罠にかかって足を引っ張るバカはいない。
Figured I'd include this one to make you laugh as much as it made me laugh. Her having a look of horror mixed with empathy at having to deal with her logic when opening a chest that was 99% a mimic. The old man proving his worth by following through with his principles by keeping everyone here alive with him. Don't know what art style they used on that exactly, but it's fantastic looking. Some of the very best looking animation and visual effects in the whole thing. Great physical actions mixed with amazing looking magical attacks from all sides. Bloody brilliant stuff, and 2 wins worthy. Things getting proper tense as she's knocked inside there and locked in with spikes converging on the centre. Honestly, that was such a great looking, powerful attack that when the smoke cleared and it had done 0 damage, I was shocked and started to worry for the girl inside. Okay, I'm giving that 2 max wins, and for one reason only. That is hands down one of the coolest things I've ever seen in these kinds of anime. That was amazing. Well played. Learning the various ways you can best a mimic, a source of knowledge very important to Frieren naturally. Couple wins seeing how Frieren easily tackles even a difficult dungeon such as this via a semi-montage. Also getting to see the physical representation of her enjoyment of doing so, such as her lovely little happy run here.
結構いいもの手に入ったね。ガラクタにしか見えませんが、あんなもので喜べだなんて。
Oh, I'm very happy Frieren with her dungeon junk.
私はとある人に恩を返すために一人前の魔法使いになりました。それは当時の私の人生の目標で。
To be honest, just seeing this was a lovely reminder of not only how far she's come, but also what Haito gave her and the world that day when he saved her life.
フリーレン様はガラクタみたいな魔道具を集めて楽しそうに笑っていました。つられて笑ってしまったんです。
Finding out why Fern lives the life she does right now. She gets a lot of enjoyment from just being around Frieren and seeing how happy it all makes her.
雰囲気が変わったな。
Good scene to showcase just how insanely large this one single dungeon is in the world.
なんだ、もう歩けなく。
拘束されたわ。魔力を消した魔法使いが3人。奇襲よ。
Excellent plot twist that I genuinely didn't see coming.
分かっている。
Two wins. Firstly, how quickly he thinks and takes charge, cast a spell to block their eyesight, preventing the magic from working. Secondly, I thought it was awesome how he can create the flowers he needs to use his main spell.
霊落の応募が難攻不落だったわけだぜ。まさかこんなものがいるだなんてね。
It's a freaking double plot twist! I thought it was Ubal, not magical clones of themselves. Hot damn, this anime is so good!
シャルフは俺を、エーレはシャルフを狙え。俺はエーレを叩く。
How he immediately splits them up to fight the battle, but even more clever, having one fight someone other than themselves. As mentioned in the previous video, the fact that made me so hyped up by magic battles is a true testament to them. This absolutely stunning looking piece of smooth as warm butter animation that I really want to spread on my tan toast. It's so simple, but it's so hand done and so good looking too.
どちらにせよ徒党を組んでいて正解だったな。対処できる手段も増える。
So when watching this, I was like casually enjoying the moment, and then I was like, oh snap! I literally said that as it hit me that Frieren's clone is going to be tough to best. So good.
これが試験でなかったらわしはとうに瓶を割っておる。
Oh, there we have it right away. Not sure why they're facing it of all people, but damn, that's unlucky. Also though, this great moment as they prepare for combat just looked visually so good to me. A final win here for the music as well.
賢者エービヒの英雄譚に出てくる神話の時代の魔物だ。
To be honest, I think it's better that the cause of the mirroring is actually a monster of legend and not, for example, some magic trap caused by the instructors. In that same vein, mentioning that in the wild there are monsters doing similar things but not to the same degree by far.
一旦引くぞ。
What a beautifully intense start to the battle where the old man, faced with such raw power, is already talking about falling back, and visually it looks equally intense. Totally getting a win there for that too. How they fly through the air is stupidly good looking. Showing us that Land too is focusing on her and learning more about her as he comments on her need to talk even during battle like this.
僕たちを追い詰めたのに追撃してこないのは君のソルガニールを警戒しているからだ。
Also take one for the realism behind her clone taking her sweet time like she would in this situation. I like that attention to detail rather than relentlessly attacking them.
今のメガネくんって本物？
さあね。
From an artistic standpoint, I really liked cutting away the music there when she said that.
じゃあメガネくん、ちょっと待っていてね。瓶を取り返してくる。
It's interesting because we don't know if it's really him or his perfect magic clone, so it might be sweet of him to decline her bottle to escape in case she needs it, or he doesn't really need it. Briefly going first person like it's no big deal. Fantastic looking start to the battle with a wonderful and smooth looking first person attack there.
視界に全身を収めること。この勝負は先に。
Brilliant how the battle starts off with a heavy focus on them being so evenly matched, with strikes hitting perfectly in unison. And then there's that prior win in action again. Oh my goodness, first person fighting is so rare in anime, so I love to see this.
メガネくん、意外と早かったね。
I mean, my god, that was fantastic, really, because it wasn't just a battle. Whoever is stronger or quicker wins. There was tons of feints and basing attacks on personality and whim. I love it.
ユーベル、瀕死の僕が分身だと分かっていたんだな。
Giving a win because I sure didn't.
なぜ死に急ぐような真似をした？
メガネくんが来てくれると確信したからかな。自分のせいで誰かが死ぬのが嫌なんでしょ？
I might not be reading the room correctly, but it seems to me anyway that maybe, just maybe, she likes him a little bit, but could be using him, or I could be off base entirely. But let's go.
この壁の奥に隠し部屋がある。きっとお宝だよ。
Ah, she's so good and smart, and at the same time she's so insanely cute like this too. Pretty awesome seeing how their dungeon maps work. So cool! It's like some Uncharted shizzle!
埋葬された王の功績が描かれているな。
Finding this in the secret room and getting a better understanding of what this place is, and at the same time how it really was an important tomb at first and not designed as a dungeon.
壮観ですね。
This to me felt like the same thing, but maybe the other way around to an earlier one where I talked of Fern getting joy from seeing Frieren enjoy things, and here she is maybe feeling the same way.
面白くなってきた。
She's not even put off by this. She's excited by the notion of fighting it, clearly.
格上の魔法使いを倒すとしたら高速魔法か精神操作魔法だ。
どちらにも耐性があるけれどもね。
Feels so cool to sit back and watch her reveal stuff about herself that we never knew, and they're likely thinking, damn, how tough is she?
では失礼して。
Oh, what an adorable form of magic.
高速魔法が通用しませんね。いい匂い。
Oh, even more adorable. She hugged her back, enjoying the moment. Also, though, Fern getting jelly in the background.
私ではフリーレンさんの精神防御が破れません。あらあら。
See what I'm saying? The absolute height of adorable this scene ended up being. I'm all warm and fuzzy now.
わしの見立てではあれには勝てん。魔法はイメージの世界。
Finding out that these poor people have to fight sense of all things, but most of all I enjoyed how well in depth she went when describing her abilities and how strong she is against them.
そもそもわしらは武闘派ではない。ここいらが潮時じゃろ。正直怖いからもう帰りたい。
You can feel the honesty in this situation. You know you might not make it out alive. She gives a good argument and then follows up with some realism there. Dropping one here because, again, we get a proper rundown of how her magic works. It's never simple. There's always something behind it. I really enjoy that about magic in this story.
今にわかる。
That was so well done. She said, I need 15 seconds. I doubt we'll get more. He said, what do you mean? Then boom, this happens. She knew they were about to be targeted. Not even going to mess around. So much furious animation is put into the start of this battle that it's getting max wins already. I mean, how can you not for that? Getting to see what a full-on multi-level defensive spell looks like.
だが目はあったの。優秀な魔法使いほど敵をよく見る。
Two wins here. Firstly, I found it so unique that she's narrating their battle in real time, giving orders but also trying to lock in so her magic can do its thing. But also that brilliant music, once again, used at the very best of times. It truly does get my blood pumping.
ひざまずけ。わしらでは絶対に勝てぬな。
And as simple as that, it's not made a huge thing, but she's clearly been badly hurt in that attack and it just happened. It doesn't have a brain. She couldn't control it.
便利じゃの。安全確保までしてくれるのか。
I don't even care. The way these things are represented in the anime is freaking out of this world. It's getting another max 2 wins for that. I'm in serious awe of that. Goodness me. Anti-anime win here. They said they needed her who just got carted off to safety to beat cloned Frieren, but she just lost her battle and left. Stuff like that never happens. Seeing another battle taking place where both sides are using the same countermeasures. So awesome how things like that are added, him quickly using a shield knowing a rock is about to head his way. Some absolutely stunning looking animation. I mean, come on, same thing again, the fact that it's all done by hand. They should be so proud of themselves.
フリーレン様を殺せるかもしれません。そう。はい。
She's so lovely, not even taking the slightest hint of offense to this.
はいって。
ルンストさん。
Shocking that this guy ended up making it away from fake sense in the end.
Come on, Ike!
The fact that he didn't just say he kept it busy so I could escape. He says it and then they go and show us it afterwards. Not running away on the spot.
聖典を持っていますので、簡単な回復魔法くらいなら。
I like this lady, really pleased that she's had a much larger role than I thought she might have after we saw almost nothing of her during the first test.
複製体を操っているのはシュピーゲルっていう神話の時代の魔物だ。
Two wins. Firstly, colour me shocked that she knows this information that only so far a first-class mage knew. Secondly, colour me a shade of happy that they both made it through okay and got here. How she gives them not just one reason why they didn't work with everyone else, but 2 or 3 instead. Essentially finding out what the final boss of this dungeon is going to be.
命がけで宝物庫の扉を閉じる魔法。民間魔法の中でもトップクラスの封印魔法だよ。
Love how often we're reminded of how many weird and wonderful spells she's gathered over time.
前回の先遣隊は兄貴の部隊を除いてほとんどが壊滅した。
Forgot to mention this before, but finding out that she gained her knowledge from her brother's failed attempt at the same test, but also the worrisome reveal that eventually the clones all go down. I'm so confused, but at the same time that was also really cool.
魔法を使う瞬間にほんの一瞬だけ魔力探知が途切れている。
That feels like it's so Frieren to be so powerful, but seemingly make a simple mistake that novice type mages often make.
自覚があるのならなんで言ってくれなかったんですか？だって恥ずかしいし。
Oh, how she's so insanely adorable though! A surprisingly calming and lovely song over this fully animated montage of discussing the upcoming battle. That this was clearly done entirely by hand. Seeing this great battle of the past play out, but what struck me the most was the incredible sounding sound effects the whole way through it.
こうやってダンジョンのボスを倒すためによく話し合ったなって思って。
Back in the day, I was a big WoW player, so not gonna lie, her talking like this also brings back a lot of memories for me, although I never did any of the super high-end dungeons. These two still kinda constantly messing around in the background.
私は歴史上で最も多くのダンジョンを攻略したパーティーの魔法使いだよ。
To be real, it even filled me with confidence when she said this. It's also so rare to hear her talk about her own accomplishments. Few things make up this win. The shock that it was just Frieren and Fern fighting, that the clones are nearing them, and that if they win, they're essentially getting everyone a pass. I swear I love the little added touches such as them moving their staves vertical here to move around the girls. There's that music again! That really is something else. How insanely fast-paced the start of the battle is! These completely hand-done effects from the looks of things. Now that I think about it, this looks even more like the second season's biggest battles in Jujutsu Kaisen. Wanted to highlight that with its own win for truly looking like it had an entirely different style of art being used on it. Really can't get over the sheer volume of fighting going on in the background there. How there's not some reason given that she can beat her that makes you roll your eyes? Instead it's a reason that's been built upon ever since Fern entered the anime and shown throughout.
今まで魔法は魔族の技術であるとして表立った研究は禁忌とされてきた。
For context, the Emperor, as is reported just prior to this, has allowed magical research everywhere, but I found it just a highly interesting piece of info about the past. Used to be illegal.
大陸最大の統一帝国が魔法の研究と軍事転用を始めるということだ。
In addition, though, it's the realism behind when it was made legal, it rolled out to schools, and here training court majors to likely protect the Emperor, and training for soldiers too.
周辺諸国が黙っていない。わずか数十年で魔法は大陸中に普及する。
Seeing this great-looking world map and the size of the empire they're talking about at that point in time.
誰もが魔法を使える時代だと？魔法は特別であるべきだ。所詮は気まぐれで育てた弟子だ。
Learning more about this master magic user and her own goals for the world. Interesting that Flam saw this coming, that she knew her better than she thought in the end.
でもよかったんだ。あの子のお気に入りの魔法を知っているか？花畑を出す魔法。まるで女の子みたいな可愛い夢だ。でも実際にそうだったんだよ。
Really sweet to see a scene of her remembering a time when she was just a little girl. Liked how they did that, going from the present to suddenly a scene of the past. Couple more wins actually. Firstly, baby Flam. But also I enjoyed finding out what made her tick, why she herself wanted to learn magic in the first place, and it ends up being a wholesome as hell reason like that. The fact that they've done like 4 first-person shots in the last couple episodes. I also thought it was worthy to note how Flam was seemingly always aware of her short lifespan and so fought to make her dream a reality with everything she had in that lifetime. I also cannot skip over the amount of gorgeous scenery shots we've witnessed since they started their long walk.
これから先は時代が加速するぞ。
I swear, even this human city of the long distant past looked more simple compared to the modern stuff we've seen.
これから先たくさんの魔法使いといろいろな魔法が見られるんだね。
How even back then, even after a warning that a human mage may one day end her, she still has so much joy for magic and life in her. How she seemed to smile at the very last second, perhaps knowing the plan had worked, or perhaps knowing her protege and friend was in position to do this. Imagine ending the last episode like that, and starting this one with the battle still raging. I thought it was over. Does anyone know if the people who worked on some of the biggest fights in Jujutsu Kaisen Season 2 lent a hand here? If not, I'm amazed by the similar, insanely high quality. Damn dude, even the hair flapping about her face looks sick. Dude, get out of here, she's fighting with a monster golem! Fern with an amazing sneaky sneak. By the by, so much extra credit to the animators for everything in the scene our eyes don't keep focusing on, such as all of the block movements and destructions and environmental effects on display. The simple but super high quality animation poured into even simple movements such as this.
手を正しく選択すれば数で対処しろ
Anyone might logically have thought that the Frieren battle would be the largest, and yet was shown so much godlike animation of everyone else fighting outside of that battle, it's max wins all day. Just when I think they're kicking ass and all is good, they reveal we haven't seen Fern or the Old Man's, 2 more of the most powerful ones. This is where the anime shines. They win their battle and suddenly she's impaled by fake sense and he's badly attacked too. Massive plot twist. These two being rescued and carried out, and the fact that the old man was sweet enough to quickly attempt to get to them, clearly knowing something was up and burning manner doing so.
今フリーレンが
説明はいい。必要なことなの？
She's such a weirdly cool character. Dangerous, but still cool.
私の得意魔法はこれ。大体何でも切る魔法。レイル財伝。
Ah! So dangerous, but so cool.
まあ髪ってのは体の一部だからね。全身を視界に収めるのは。
Great looking continuous motion shot as it flies towards her position.
レイル財伝。
That transition though! Seeing all of the test takers from 2 years back that Ubel first took was a nice sight, plus some good spell casting as people took the test against the admin from back then.
切りすぎちゃった。
Not gonna show it, but showing how she took the guy out and it wasn't pretty.
姉貴がよく裁縫をしているのを見ていた。
Frieren as an anime has gone from strength to strength in my mind. I mentioned before I wanted some new characters. I got them in the 3rd quarter. I wanted background, and I've got it in spades too since.
とてもいい音がするんだ。イメージの話だよ。
I feel like other authors may have said, yes, magic is done via visualization, but Frieren, it's fair to say, has heavily leaned into that aspect numerous times now, and it's awesome. What I liked as a follow-up to the last window is that visualization isn't the be-all and end-all as described here. It helps, but it's just an aspect of magic, one of many.
これは切れないものだと知性では分かっていながら、感覚のままに不動の街灯を切り裂くイメージを構築した。
Wow, it's so intriguing to find out what makes Ubel so special. Her brain doesn't really work in a normal fashion, and it greatly aids her use of magic.
ところでゼンジさん、綺麗な髪の毛だね。手入れとか大変でしょ。
もしかしたら私はあの時点でもう負けていたのかもしれない。
Ah, I love it! So dark and yet so casual. She made a threat without making it, but let her know, I think I can cut your hair, which means she can essentially.
相性が悪すぎる。
Ubel won against one of the 4 strongest clones in the dungeon.
お前らはフリーレンがシュピーゲルを倒すまでの時間稼ぎをしているわけだ。
はい、そうです。
Smart move to head out to find this team since they never made it to the bottom yet, and also nice to see her healing him up.
俺は他人を信じるようなたちじゃねえが、ケツを振っている勝ち馬を逃すほどバカじゃない。
I knew I liked this dude from the start. You could tell he's logical, forward-thinking, and considerate, and that's brought across to the viewer very quickly indeed.
もう一体のフェルンさんの複製体に関しては私に任せてください。それに高速魔法が通じることは本人の体を使って確かめましたから。
That! So easily that. She looks kind of upset there.
僕の見間違いじゃないよね。
だろうね。だってメガネくん動けないでしょ。私の複製体が復活している。
What a brilliant twist! Unless Lan's clone made another clone, this time of Ubel? I'm so confused, what's going on? Actually, you know what? Go right on ahead and help yourselves to 2 max wins for that GLPT, God level plot twist. Never did I think they'd come back to life or whatever you want to call it. What they essentially created here was a full animated montage of all of the fighting going on. And now we're back into the most important fight happening. Dude, how many first-person shots do they want to include in these episodes? The best animators who worked on the best scenes in Mob Psycho 100 would be dead proud of that. It was so good, but so tense to see, for pretty much the first time, an overwhelming magical attack meet an overwhelming magical defense like this. What I liked about this, aside from how good it looked visually, is that it's the same move she used versus the old man in the first test, getting right up in his grill. Fern just showing off her incredible mastery of magic, blasting fake Frieren like there's no tomorrow. Friggin' unexpected! Come on, man!
すごいです。フリーレン様。隙だらけです。
What I feel like I essentially learned through this series is what a lovable goofball Frieren is, her lovely personality and her personal growth, and how she's an utter wrecking ball if needs be.
よくやった、フェルン。
Definitely take one for Fern and Frieren winning the battle, but even then it was close at times.
あれを見せるほど追い詰められたのは80年ぶりかな。
This little semi-lore drop, just letting us know that someone else once pushed her to the very edge. Hope we hear more of that. Seeing everyone else's battles come to a close here made me legit breathe a sigh of relief. This. Never in all of my time watching anime has a pile of gold looked more like a pile of gold. To his credit, he is once again physically carrying her and using magic to carry him.
一級魔法使いに十分匹敵する。歴史に名を残すほどの偉業だ。
Hearing this made me feel so happy for them. Felt like such a true test in the end as well.
それで一番の功労者はどこに行った？
暗いよー！怖いよー！
Can't just pretend that this doesn't deserve a win. Her voice actress makes it so much better as well. She sounds so sad.
なんと回復魔法まで使えるのじゃ。どうじゃ？すごいじゃろ。
I agree with her. These things are stupidly awesome in this anime, hence all the wins.
極意へとまた一歩近づいたな。お主に教えることはもう何もない。
それ毎日言ってるよね。
I thought this guy had at least taught him something, maybe in passing. I didn't know he just kept on going up there and saying that to him.
あれ、フェルン？
ブチギレてる？なんで？
怖い。
Fern is mad so very often.
そうしたら古い杖は捨てて新しい杖を買った方がいいと。それでもあれはハイター様からもらった杖です。
Nicely bringing part of the main plot points of the whole show back into focus. To Frieren, this is a fairly small thing. She's thinking pragmatically. To Fern, it means a lot. It's a piece of him. So glad the home stretch is still filled with these kinds of sights. Happy now.
じゃあラビーネちゃん、なでなでしてあげよっか。早くしろ。
Well, that was insanely adorable.
おい、いつまでいるつもりだ？
わしは今客としてここにいる。
ならさっさと選べ。
あげる。
いらん。
Talking about adorable, these three still hanging out in spite of him being annoyed by it on the surface. They're like a proper team.
デンケン、お前は知らないだろうが、どんな最悪な気分でも人は食っていくために働かなければならん。
For context, he says, I'm in a foul mood. Denken says, yet you still opened your shop, and he replies with this. I just thought it showed the difference between this world's richer and less rich.
3年後のお前は今よりずっと強くなっている。ラーフェン、帰るぞ。
Such a simple yet beautiful scene. It goes into Denken's empathy, likely also feeling a kinship with them both, and also shows that even if he doesn't think he's a good man, he doesn't dislike him.
こんなゴミをよこされても困る。
ゴミじゃないよ。多分。
Even though she says this with a follow-up, cute little extra snarky comment, the point is she's taken what Fern says to heart and tries to find a way to fix it like here. Seeing the fixing process itself, and it's honestly infinitely better looking than I thought it'd be. I kind of thought glue would be involved if I'm being real.
ゴミだなんて言って悪かった。手入れの行き届いたいい杖だ。
Nice comment from him, and it speaks to Haita, who gifted it in the first place, and Fern's love and care in looking after it.
フェルン、もう帰ろうぜ。
Somehow the animators even managed to capture a unique form of angry eating.
そんなの俺だってわかんねえよ。
やめてよ、俺に当たらないで。
Ah, the comedy is too good in this sometimes. Fern finding out by chance that he repaired the staff for her today, and what I almost liked as much as this was seeing all of the small animated movements as he packed up for the night. Seeing her with the now repaired staff warms my heart.
フリーレンは感情や感性に乏しい。それが原因で困難や行き違いが起こることもあるでしょう。彼女以上の死はなかなかいませんよ。
Brought a little tear to my eye there. He really cared so much about her and knew her so well too from all those years together. Just had to show that because firstly it was so sweet how she mumbles in her sleep, my wife does that a lot too, and how she gave her the best gift back in that moment, tucking her in for more sleep.
フリーレン様ですね。
おかげで実力に見合わないものまで大勢合格した。謝る必要はない。すべてフリーレンが悪い。
For context, she says too many passed the second test. It never happens. There's one who's too powerful taking the tests, and she brings up Frieren, and I give it a win because she's not exactly wrong.
絶大な魔力です。ゼイリエ様に匹敵するほどの。
Half the win is because these people are not tricksters. They are definitely strong themselves for sure, and the other half is the reveal of Frien's strength being equal to even hers.
私の知る限り、それをたった一目で見破ったのは魔王だけだ。
Damn, dude! That puts him on that same level! Wow! I struggle to impress how awesome I find the element of time in this story.
やはり人間の弟子は取るものではないな。本当に残念だ。
Felt genuinely sad after this moment, just being so open about how much longer he's got left being an old human, and he seemed to be suppressing a sadness there. Dunno, just got to me. Such a wonderful habit of creating such grand looking visuals.
不合格だ。帰れ。
理由を聞いてもいい？
不合格。不合格。不合格。不合格だ。
That was unexpectedly quick!
一度だけチャンスをやる。好きな魔法を言ってみろ。
花畑を出す魔法。
I love how she did stick with what has genuinely been her favourite spell all of these years and didn't change it for this moment.
フランメから教わった魔法か。実にくだらない。不合格だ。
そう。
Honestly didn't think that this would happen, but that's what's so crazy good about this anime. It always does things you do not expect. How even here she remains herself. She doesn't try to take all the glory for defeating the Demon King. She says she was blessed with strong allies and didn't do it alone. She's awesome to me.
君は覚えていないだろうけれども、昔僕は一度だけ君と会ったことがある。子供の頃、森に薬草を取りに入った時、道に迷った。その時、一人のエルフが人里の方向を教えてくれた。君は僕に花畑を出す魔法を見せてくれた。
Knowing that they once met before long ago, to his mind anyway, and that she aided him then in the darkness and gave light to a scared child. A feeling of warmth, plus those visuals, it really got to me. 2 wins.
ヒンメルたちと出会わせてくれたのは先生が教えてくれたくだらない魔法だよ。
To link all of that together is truly a thing of beauty, that it's her favourite spell for numerous reasons, including that it brought her and the heroes of yore together back then.
それからゼーリエ。フェルンも同じように不合格にするつもりだろうけれども、あの子はゼーリエの想像を超えるよ。
Oh, she loves Fern so much. The way she talks about her now with such pride is lovely to see.
待て。お前、何が見えている？
揺らいでいる。
Goodness me! It's so simple on the surface, yet such a powerful scene, as she does exceed expectations right out of the gate.
フェルンとか言ったな。お前、私の弟子になれ。
嫌です。
That was definitely a shock, but even more so, I loved how quickly Fern turned her down. No thanks.
私がゼーリエに何を言っても不合格になるように、フェルンは何を言っても合格になる。
She's so smart, she correctly predicted her own fail given in Fern's pass, assuming that happens, but most likely.
私はフリーレン様の弟子です。
Good on you, girl. Loyalty, such a rare commodity.
合格だ。
So good! You gotta love it!
お前が若い頃に会いたかった。血の気と野心に満ち溢れた。
Even just this brief moment of his younger years was great to see. He looked so serious and stern. What an anime!
私は燃えかすには興味はない。そう思っていたのだがな。お前、私を見たとき、どう戦うか考えただろう。
ほんの一瞬だけだ。すぐに諦めた。
合格だ。まだ燃えている。
Showed this whole scene heavily edited in order to express my utter joy at Denken being made a first-class mage. He's so different than I first thought he'd be. He truly deserves it.
合格だ。
まだ何も話していないけど。
I would strongly presume that she passed on the same basis as Denken. She entered the room very much thinking about combat with her.
試験会場に一度も来ないバカがどこにいる？この試験期間中、本体は故郷の村から出ていないな。
Even though it's quickly revealed that he's there in person still by the door, I liked the notion that he never risked getting involved in pretty much any of it.
今はのんびりティータイムか。
Well, that is incredible. No other words.
実にいい度胸だ。合格。次。
He passes as well. This one surprised me, but it's true. He must be able to make multiple clones, clearly.
魔法ってのは殺しの道具だぜ。好きも嫌いもあるか。
合格だ。
My boy passes as well, and I enjoyed how during the process, it's not the same thing over and over. You know you can't beat me in a fight or whatever, it's always different.
ちっちゃくて可愛いなと思いました。
今年の受験者はどうなっている。合格だ。
See what I'm saying? She totally based that on yet another completely different kind of conversation that convinced her she was ready. It's a small win, but take a win for adding when she was wrong. I liked that reveal about her character.
これで故郷に墓参りに行ける。
I swear it's his wife's grave, and that's so sad, but good on him for one more time proving me right about how nice of a dude he is and thanking them for their aid through the process. Fern essentially being me when it comes to tasty treats. I am a Libra after all.
遠慮せず食べなさい。わしの若い頃は甘いものなんてめったに食べられなかった。
I derive a great deal of joy from the mere fact that still, even after all the tests are done, they're still meeting up like this by chance and enjoying a pleasant time together. A lot of subtle animation is put into this scene. As I've been saying all along, it really breathes life into scenes.
誰なの？
宮廷魔法使いの電剣様です。
He went out with them for tea and biscuits without even knowing who they were at this point.
お貴族様じゃねえか！タメ口叩いてすみませんでした。
How come Stark has the best reactions though?
そうです。お孫さんとか。
わしには子も孫もおらん。
Now that is sad, and you can see the reaction from him as one of hurt, and instantly it makes perfect sense why he's so kind to the youngsters, happy to treat them, happy to be around them. Ah.
わしが20半ばの時に妻に先立たれた。もともと体が弱かった。
People like this always wow me personally. It's that bright, burning love you can have for someone that never goes away, no matter how old you get, that you still can't get over it. It makes me sad.
フリーレンに伝えてくれんか。魔法が楽しいものだったと久々に思い出せた。
Easy win for finding out how powerful he is and why he gained that power in the first place, how it came too late to save his wife, and how he's found a love for magic he never had before. The end of the conversation just being as lovely and most importantly leaving me with a feeling I almost never have, wanting him to live a long and happy, healthy life.
このカゴに入れればいいのか？
This legend just coming along and being a nice lad. I really hope we see more of him in the second season too.
一級魔法使いになりたかったのも望む魔法が与えられる特権のためだ。魔法が手に入れば魔族をぶっ殺せるからな。
Found it quite interesting that his reason for becoming a first-class mage was to ideally get a spell that allows him to destroy more demons that in the process would help keep his hometown safe and fulfill his promise. His gorgeous-looking hometown, and once again, as you'd expect, there's a statue to Himmel there.
宣教の塔の攻略、七宝剣、不死なるベーゼや光極竜との戦い。
Ideally, this will be explored more in the second season because he just dropped some insanely interesting lore there. Probably being gifted with the most in-depth backstory of any of the side characters to date.
勇者ヒンメルが死んで、魔族の残党が暴れ始めてからよく分かったよ。
It's quite sad knowing that when Himmel passed away, the demons begun to attack more and more again. It's like he's taken up the unofficial mantle left over when he died. Beautifully smooth rotating shot.
俺をここまで連れてきたのは勇者ヒンメルのくだらない冒険譚だ。俺が言いたいのはそれだけだ。
Quite poetic really, and the kind of thing I dare say Himmel would have liked to have heard about if he was still alive.
結局あいつらと一緒に帰ることになっちまった。
So damn sweet that so many likely lifelong friendships and team-ups have been solidified through these tests as he's heading off with these two still. Feel like that justified win number 1067 in terms of how Himmel approached these things. Not lightly dragging after a dejected and rejected Frieren on the spot. Another beautiful look at the city at night.
この時代では きっとフェルンの方が有名な魔法使いになるんだろうね。嬉しいね。
It's that kind of attitude that makes her so incredibly likable to me nowadays compared to the start. That genuine care she has for Fern and how she looks forward to her future as a mage. It's funny, this whole time I was tense as soon as he appeared and her face almost looked like it sensed danger too. And here we are, him speaking of taking her out.
歴史に名を残す必要なんてないよ。ゼーリエはちゃんと覚えている。
What a beautifully sudden and unexpected battle! And to her absolute credit, she refuses to fire back, understanding that he's only doing it for her and not to be forgotten about. That was nuts!
気まぐれで取ったはずの弟子なのに、一人一人の性格も好きな魔法も鮮明に思い出せる。
Even though she comes across as very cold, the notion that she remembers them so vividly, each, no matter how long they've been gone, was actually really sweet. Imagine all that caused by her inability, unlike Frieren, to tell her students what she really thinks of them. Trust this anime to give us one more gorgeous look at the town.
部の道は深く険しい。達者でな。
ああ。
シュタルク様はどこに行っても慕われていますね。
This old man doing the same thing, but what struck me the most was how many people called out to him. Clearly he touches a lot of hearts as he goes. Very likely the final not walking on the spot of the season.
わかりませんか?
Adorable!
服の汚れをきれいさっぱり落とす魔法です。これで洗濯が楽になります。
でかしたフェルン。
This is the spell she chose. In the same way as Frieren though, I gather she enjoys just anything magical and the act of gathering the important stuff herself. One more that they really didn't have to do so late in the game.
楽しかったよ。元気でね。
じゃあまたね。
またね。
Really glad these girls got to say a proper goodbye in the end. That's like a nice, neat and tidy bow to wrap up that story.
ヒンメルってさ、すごくあっさり人と別れるよね。
そうだね。でも旅を続けている以上、また会うことだってあるだろう。
They even used the past to justify why Frieren does tend to do rather quick goodbyes. Have one here for this great song with an even better chorus and seeing everyone of importance from the season.
また会った時に恥ずかしいからね。
何ですか？それは。
Her repeating the same thing he said when asked why he wraps up goodbyes fairly quick. One more for the final gorgeous looking view, of course. And lastly, finding out that a season 2 will be made. Best friggin' news ever. Thank you so much for joining me on this journey. It's wiped me, I won't lie. Worked around 35 hours alone on this video, whilst also covering One Piece. You wouldn't believe the work that goes into it. If you want to help me keep doing it, any amount, big or small, you can pledge over on my Patreon, links below. Helps me feed my labs, care for my family. I'm far from rich. I basically make nothing from YouTube and every little helps. You can also subscribe, as I've got so much coming down the pipe you have no idea. Consider pledging, my PayPal is down there too. Love your faces, and see you next week, hopefully. Darth Weirdo, Mal Liao, Nick Wyndham, The Elemental Wars, Christopher Willis, Emmanuel Gonzalez, Fancy Turtle, Kepan, Minimasher, Marquez, Nazomi, Orkeeper, Otter A. Bodonisi, Steelers, The Epicommander, Bird Without a Word, Brandon Creer, Brian Bayot, Cameron, Christian Tuasa, Commander Chris, Doggos for Life, Dragonstorm 35, Aaron Winters, Guru, I Am Here, James Tafoya, Your Edvinson, Kevin Elston, Cumfoik, Kylie Wub, Lisa Marie Timp, Luis Minito, Magnus, Mr. Mansu, Nightly Winter, Peter Milligan, Ruby Rose, Satakayari, Zion 44, Sean, The 100s, Tiger Lily Warrior, Sumi Bito, Ajoka, Alexander Schwartz, Ali 50, Amadillo, Brainless Ben, Cecilia, Cedric, Cloud Garden, Dante Soul, Dark Lord Bloody Soul, Def the Kid 123, Devon, Dragon Defender, Esso, Garrett Vermish, Gibbs, Hoof to Lowe's Ritter, Israel Caldera, Jason Davies, John, Juffa 6263, Kelnock, Kevin Nelter, Kevink 102, Knuckle Duster, Kai 158, Kyle Jones, Laxor, Laxus, Liam Gagati, Lifty, Lionel Schultz, Marvin, Matthew Blansett, Michael Lewis, Modiverum, Monty, Mudini, Mr. Firecool, Natsu Dragneel, Nick Monaco, Nick Pell, 9028, Ollie the Mighty, Oliver Smiley Reacts, Oscar I. Lopez, Owen Halloran, Q Flash, Ryan DeVries, Sarcastic Truth, Snow, Stan, Storm 970, TRS, The Danish Muggle, Thrasher 340, Vernon Hogan, Will Sass, Willie Man.